Father's Day is coming up, and if the men in your life are still washing their face with soap and water, today's sponsor, OneSkin, has a simple routine that will not only make their skin look and feel healthier, it's powered by OS01, the first ingredient scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age. OneSkin is founded and led by skin longevity scientists, so they're all about data. In clinical studies, they found that OS01 Face, their daily facial moisturizer, improved hydration, skin elasticity, and the appearance of wrinkles. OneSkin is more than skincare. It's about skin longevity, targeting the root causes of aging to help you look and feel your best at every age. Get started today with 15% off using code RATCHET at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code RATCHET. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to expect more from your skincare routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin. Hey y'all, let me put you on to something real quick. I have something that you need to check out. You ever heard of the BLK app? That's BLK, not black, the BLK app. If not, you're missing out. If you downloaded the app before and deleted it, re-download it because they've introduced a bunch of new features and it's new people to meet on there. Oh, and did I mention that it's free? Yep, free. All right, I did my good deed for the day by putting you on. So go download BLK today in the App Store or on Google Play. It's free, it's fun, it's for us. Check it out and let me know what you think. Curious about how you can achieve smooth, natural-looking, long-lasting filler results? The Juvederm collection of fillers has 6 unique gel fillers that add subtle volume and are designed for different needs in specific areas of the face, like lips, cheeks, chin, smile lines, under eyes, and jawline. Ask your licensed specialist for a full face assessment today and download the Ally app. That's ALLE, the official loyalty program of Juvederm, to save on treatments and get a look that's true to you. For important safety information and to find licensed specialists, visit juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. Yo, I'm back. I'm in Maryland, gorgeous Prince George's. I've been here for a couple days now. Usually when I come home, I announce it on social media or even the podcast pretty immediately, and I just get bombarded with messages, which are lovely. The welcome back and let's hang out and all of that. But usually the first few days, I'm so exhausted and I've got to pull my American life together that I'm declining more invites than I'm accepting. So I was like, let me get my life together and let me get back on East Coast sleeping time, which I'm kind of sort of back. I'm still waking up every day at 6 o'clock, which I really don't mind. It's like Technicolor green here. I think I have this revelation every time I come home. I've not been, including the tropical places that I've stayed, in another place that is as green as Maryland. It is super green here. This place doesn't look real. I went to the movies last night with Mom. We were supposed to go see Bad Boys over the weekend, but we had a communication breakdown. The movie did really, really well. I think I read, was it 56 million domestic and 104 million global? The movie cost 100 million. I don't know what the marketing budget was, but they made their money back on the film opening weekend, and it has really good word of mouth. I expect next weekend we'll have strong sales as well. Because I didn't see it over the weekend, and it did well too, I was just going to wait until probably not next weekend, but next week to see it. But it did so well, and I was starting to see spoilers trickle through, and people were raving about it. I know people who've gone to see it twice in the opening weekend, not even on some oh, I just want to support Will Smith, but on some it's a really good movie. So I was like, well, let me go check it out. I think I've seen all the Bad Boy movies, but I don't really remember them. They come out in weird increments. Like, even though it's been a successful franchise from the very beginning, like the first film made over 100 million. It's the movie that turned Will Smith into a Hollywood action star. But they all do really well, but they're spaced out really weird. It's like the first one's in 1995, and then there's another one in like, I don't know, 2006 maybe? Let me look that up. 2003. So 1995, 2003, and then another one in 2020. So like a 17-year gap, and then a 4-year gap since the last one. Now, I understand the gap from the last one because, you know, Will had some issues. I think it was actually in the works when, you know, the quote and unquote incident happened, and they delayed it because they didn't know how people would feel about Will Smith. But Will's back officially. I'm really, really happy for them. I'm really, really happy too. I'm going to just say it the way I feel it. There have been so many articles. I know we talked about the one in Variety last week, but there's also the Hollywood Reporter, a bunch of places, New York Post, a bunch of big publications like questioning, are people over the slap? Will people come outside for Will Smith? Do people forgive Will Smith? And I'm like, what is there to forgive? And I'm talking like it's just white publications. I guess publications wise, maybe it is. But Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator who seems to be commenting on everything but sports these days, I didn't actually see the clip. I saw it talked about on Baller Alert, which has a predominantly black audience. But Stephen Smith was like, Will Smith needs to address, quote and unquote, address. That's what he said. That's the word he used. The black community because of the Oscar slap. And I was like, address me for what? Folks acting like Will Smith got on stage and shot a man. He slapped somebody. They acting like what we saw on the Oscar stage was the equivalent, because I actually saw somebody make this argument, was the equivalent of the video with Puff and Cassie. No, that's not what that was at all. Two grown men had a long-standing beef, and it came to a head on the Oscar stage. Will Smith has apologized in a statement and then also apologized on video. The way I saw some people speaking about it, like he owes us an apology, he's already apologized. How many times does he need to apologize to you? My mother taught me, if you're going to say sorry, because women over-index for apologizing, if you are going to say sorry, then make sure it's your fault. In this case, yes, it was Will's fault, which he fully takes accountability for. Isn't that some people's favorite word? Like, where's the accountability? Where's the accountability? Like he said, I did it. We saw him do it. There was no denying it. But yes, I did it, and it was very wrong, and I have no justification for it. I literally went and watched the video on YouTube yesterday because I was like, am I imagining things? But my mother, sorry, I didn't finish that thought. My mother said, as a woman, she said, if you're going to apologize, then one, make sure it's your fault. And two, say it once and be done with it. Don't go groveling. Don't go begging. Don't go over apologizing. Say, I'm sorry, acknowledge your wrongdoing, and then move on. But Will Smith has apologized publicly, specifically to Chris Rock, to Chris Rock's mother, to Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock. He called him out by name. He apologized to his own wife and family. He apologized to Questlove. He apologized to the Oscars and everybody who was in the room, everybody who was up for an award. And then he also apologized to the fans and the general public. I'm not sure who else needs to be apologized to or who else needs to be addressed. He said he reached out through channels to try to speak to Chris Rock. They said Chris was not receptive. He said publicly he understands. He said if you're ever receptive and you'd like to have a conversation, then he's open to it, and please get at him. I don't know what else he could do in this situation. Is he supposed to harass the person that he slapped? Chris don't want nothing to do with him. So that's that. It's in Chris's court now. He was the one that was done wrong. He is the one that gets to determine what the next steps are. Will has done his part and made an apology. I don't know what I need to be addressed about. I wasn't slapped. My mama wasn't slapped. My family wasn't slapped. What do we need to talk about? You put out a film. I decide with my dollars whether I'm willing to, quote and unquote, vote for you or show that I'm interested in your product. And in fact, I am. And so me and mama went to the theater last night. She ain't picking the tickets no more. We went to the IMAX. It's a Monday in the suburbs. It may have been 20 people in the entire theater, which was fine for me. My mother booked us seats like in the fourth row, like down front. And I was like, well, I guess I don't need to put my glasses on. Which, I told you I lost my glasses. My fancy rapper glasses with the Versace logos on them. Every time I wore them, my bestie was like, when's the album coming out? I'm like, fuck you. I lost them when I went back to Ghana, literally for that week. They never even made it to South Africa. So I had to go buy new glasses yesterday. Which before the glasses, I literally bought them and got them the next day. When I went yesterday, they were like, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks because we've had downsizing and pay cuts and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, fine. So I had to wear my old glasses, which don't match my new eyesight. But it was fine because we were sitting in the fourth row, immersed in the screen. But it was a really good movie. I don't want to say too much about it because I remember how, I gave up details about Creed. Because I was like, oh, everybody's seen it. And then everyone had not seen it and was really mad at me about a major spoiler that I gave up. So I don't want to say anything other than it was a really good movie. It's full of one-liners. There are tons of cameos. Can I tell you just one cameo, and it's not a major one. I won't tell you anything about the storyline. But we're watching, and it's several cameos if you pay attention to pop culture or particularly hip-hop. 2 of the cameos, my mother just didn't recognize them at all. And I had to be like, oh, that's so-and-so. But a third one comes on and my mother was like, oh, I know him. And I'm like, how the hell do you know him of all people? And she was like, him, I know him. I don't remember his name. What's his name, Demetria? What's his name? Mind you, we're in the theater and she's not quiet. She can't whisper to save her life. I know him. And I was like, how do you know this person? And I called him by his actual name. And she was like, he's a father. He had his oldest son and he was so proud to be a father. And every time he would get in front of a microphone, he would be yelling about being this boy's father. And my mother really liked that about him. She liked that he was a family man and that he was so proud to be a father. And I was like, my mother of all people knows who he's a father. She remembered the line and everything and yelled it out in the movie theater. And I was like, oh, okay. Who knew? But it's such a good movie. I posted my favorite character from the movie. It's not Will Smith or Martin Lawrence. There's a cameo of sorts, but I was like, that's how you leave an impression. I was like, that man about to eat out. Folks gonna be making his plate and everything, trying to get him to go to the grill and make the chicken for the rest of his life. Because once you're Black famous, you're famous forever. It's just how it goes. Black people never forget a face. That man is about to eat free, VIP free, drinks on me free for the rest of his life. Based on his cameo on Bad Boys 4. And deserves it. I'm a Marine. Yes, you are. Salute. Such a good movie. If you haven't got a chance to see it, go see it. Will and Martin are amazing. Will looks amazing. It's a cohesive plot. It moves quickly. And they blew the budget blowing shit up. It's a proper summer blockbuster. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Father's Day is coming up. And if the men in your life are still washing their face with soap and water, today's sponsor, OneSkin, has a simple routine that will not only make their skin look and feel healthier, it's powered by OS01, the first ingredient scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age. OneSkin is founded and led by skin longevity scientists, so they're all about data. In clinical studies, they found that OS01 Face, their daily facial moisturizer, improved hydration, skin elasticity, and the appearance of wrinkles. And when their scientists tested their Prep facial cleanser in the lab, it actually doubled the penetration of the OS01 peptide. More peptide, better skin, and easier too. You don't need a 10-step routine. You need OneSkin. For a limited time, our listeners get an exclusive 15% off their first OneSkin purchase using the code RATCHET when you check out at oneskin.co. Everyone deserves healthier skin on Father's Day and every day with OneSkin. I've been using OneSkin for a very long time now, and I can see the difference in my face. It's just clearer, juicier. My skin just looks healthier. OneSkin is more than skincare. It's about skin longevity, targeting the root causes of aging to help you look and feel your best at every age. Get started today with 15% off using code RATCHET at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code RATCHET. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to expect more from your skincare routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin. What else did I watch? I watched Queenie on Hulu. It's a British show. British shows can be touch or go for me. Storytelling is a completely cultural concept that varies by ding, ding, ding culture. British tell stories and build characters in a much different way than Americans do. And I'm half and half on whether I appreciate it or not. Queenie is the story of, it's a bit like Insecure. I think every story about a black girl in her 20s trying to figure out her life forevermore is going to be compared to Insecure. But that's what this is. The black girl who goes through a breakup and she's trying to figure out her life and sort of like how she got here and the things that she tolerates and the people that she deals with. She's unpacking her shit. It's a good story. It's well told. There's just elements of it that it's not even because she's British or British Jamaican. It has a bit of, what was that story? It was also on Hulu. Black Cake. It has a bit of like family secrets have to be unraveled in order for the woman to, she has to realize her history and literally how she got here to figure out how she moves forward. It's very smart and it's very thoughtful and it's very layered. I like the lead character. I appreciate that she was like a fuller sized girl. She was never shamed or even celebrated for it. It was just, the body is. It was, what it really was? I think she dates a bunch of white guys. It killed a bit of the relatability for me. I don't think all black women characters have to date black men, but she goes through this like string of relationships or situationships, if you will. None of them are black. And I was like, none of them seems like an intentional choice. And I don't understand why that choice was made. If it was the United Nations, it was a bit of everybody, then I'm just like, okay, it's the equal opportunity fucking. It was everybody but black guys. And I was like, I don't know. It was just a bit of a disconnect for me. And no, that's not true. Because I was in this thread on Facebook where they were talking about it. And a lot of people said they struggled with the story. They said it took like 2 or 3 episodes, in some cases 5. It's only 8 episodes to really get into the show. And I did struggle watch for more than just the boyfriends. It's the method of storytelling. It's not bad. It's just not my preferred. Give it a couple watches and let me know. I know I'm not really selling it and I'm not trying to. I'm just being honest in what my thoughts were. But I watched it to the end because I wanted to support the black girl. And even though I didn't particularly love the show, I didn't feel like it was something that embarrassed the race or, was poorly constructed or anything. It just wasn't particularly my cup of tea. But it was an interesting story. Like once it all flushed out, you got to the end, I was like, oh, okay, it was a good story arc. I like where they went with it. I wouldn't be mad if there was a second season. I just didn't, how when I love something, I'm like, oh my God, it was so good. It was okay. If you want to watch black people, because my mom does that. She'll just be like flicking through the shows, like looking for something black. If you just want to see some black people, you want to see a black woman, you want to support some black art, Queenie on Hulu. I also started watching, I done buried the lead. I'm going to Miami tomorrow for ABFF. It's 9/10 of the reason I flew back. I could have stayed in South Africa another month. Remember, I was like, I have to go to work. Last time we spoke, the press release hadn't gone out, so I couldn't say anything. But I'm partnering with Cadillac to do a Ratchet and Respectable live at the Fillmore on Thursday and Friday. So I have a bunch of friends, family, friends in my head, celeb guests and such that are joining me on the stage to kiki to talk about their latest project. One of them is Nico, Uncle Clifford. What is Nico's last name? Because I really have elevated him, put him on first name status. Nico Anon. He's Ghanaian, or at least one of his parents are. He's also from Detroit. He graduated from Cass Tech, which my mother also went to. I mean, like, he's younger than me, so my mother is old enough to be his mother. But I feel like everybody graduated from Cass Tech. Like Diana Ross also. Just saying. But no, Nico Anon. He's Uncle Clifford on P-Valley. And you know how I feel about P-Valley. They're currently taping, which thank God. Because what's the cutie? I don't even remember his name. It's been so long. The bouncer? He been stuck in the back of that truck for like 3 years now. Free that man. I started watching P-Valley when I first moved to Ghana 2 years ago at the beginning of second season. And we still don't have a third season. Come on, Stars. Come on. Apparently, Stars didn't cut the check till late. And I was like, what are y'all waiting on? The show was a hit. I don't understand TV decisions. Maybe it was a budget. I don't know. That's not the point. The point is, Nico has a documentary called Down in the Valley. I just got the screener like midnight last night. I had to call in a favor to a friend and ask her to send it over. I have not watched it yet. I know a couple people who worked on the project. Shout out to Akima Timur. She's one of the producers. So just based on her alone, I know it's good work. So he's one of the people that I'm interviewing at ABFF. I'm super excited to talk with him about his new documentary, about P-Valley, about himself. He's just like a friend in my head. Where I was initially going with the story, Lamont Rucker. Also, well, not necessarily a friend in my head. It's like a big brother. I've known Lamont forever. He used to come hang out at the office in Essence days. Him and his daddy. He's got a show on BET, which I'm waiting to be renewed. The Black Hamptons. It's... I watched a couple episodes, season 1. Season 1 was super short. I guess that was like the tester season. But it's like Greenleaf meets Empire, but there's no church and there's no record business. It's a really rich black family. Vanessa Bell Calloway is the matriarch. They run a bank. They have tons and tons of money. And everyone on the show is exceptionally beautiful, including the menfolk. And they are constantly taking their shirts off. Somebody will just walk into a scene and just take their shirt off. And I'm like, amen. One of the best looking cast of people I've ever seen. Phenomenal. Including Lamont. He's a gorgeous guy. He's like family, but I can still look at him and be like, oh, he's a very attractive man. So I started watching season 2 because I'm interviewing him at ABFF and I wanted to be able to talk about the show. They're waiting on BET to greenlight season 3. And I'm like, what is the holdup? What is the holdup? I need to know what happens with his husband when he gets out of jail. But it's so much like scandal and just lies and deception and like sex. But not like graphic. And I'm like, BET, it's on the streamer. We can get like some ass cheek shots or something of the men. I know it's BET, so you're not going to go full frontal, but y'all could give us a little more. There's no need to be timid or shy. It's a grown folk show. But it's worth the watch. It's a crazy story, well told by people who keep taking their clothes off. Like, it's great. There's a couple other people I'll be interviewing. I don't want to give away all the surprises. Oh, Scott Evans. I'm obsessed with Scott Evans. I sat next to him at ABF Honors back in February, March. When did I come back from Ghana? But I ended up sitting next to Scott at ABFF Honors. I was like, yo, I need you to be my official +1 at every award show. He is a key good time. You think he's funny off camera? The one-liners, the under-the-breath comments, hysterical. The man could do stand-up. I'm so excited to talk to him. There's some others. We'll announce as it comes along. But Ratchet and Respectable, in conjunction with Cadillac. Cadillac is doing Cadillac House for ABFF. So they're going to have performances, going to have interviews. They're going to have Cadillacs. And also Ratchet and Respectable Live. By the time you hear this, I would have announced it on social media. But if you'll be at ABFF or, you're in Miami, you got to connect. Swing by. Say hi. Come check me out. I think it's 3 to 4, Thursday and Friday at the Fillmore. And obviously, if you can't make it, we're taping it. It'll be released online. So very excited about that. It's a good reason to come on home. There are so many different sleep hacks, noise machines, no snacking at night, yoga before bed. Instead of trying them all, you can immediately transform your sleep with Boll and Branch. Boll and Branch's signature sheets are the perfect way to start upgrading your sleep, and they are designed to feel incredible for all sleepers. These best-selling sheets feel amazing on night 1, and they get softer with every single wash. They're made with the finest 100% organic cotton, so these sheets feel buttery, soft, and super breathable. So they're perfect for the warmer months ahead. I love my Boll and Branch sheets. They come with 14 versatile colors and all sizes from twin up to California king. And you don't have to take my word for it. Boll and Branch's signature sheets are loved by millions of sleepers and have over 11,000 5-star reviews. And it's not just sheets. Boll and Branch has the airiest blankets, most cloud-like duvets, the fluffiest pillows, and so much more. Sleep better with the softest, most breathable bedding from Boll & Branch. Go to bollandbranch.com/ratchet for 15% off your first sheet set, plus free shipping. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/ratchet for 15% off. Exclusions apply. See site for details. We have good Black news this week. Taraji P. Henson is hosting the BET Awards. I love Taraji. She has such beautiful energy. Cameras don't do her justice. Like when you see her in person she glows. It's like she's been plugged in. I like her. Also at the BET Awards, did we talk about this? Ursher is getting, is it a Lifetime Achievement? All I knew was there's some Ursher business going on, and I was like, let me figure out a way to get to the BET Awards to see Ursher. Who's going to be doing this tribute? I feel like they should just let Ursher tribute himself. Remember when Diddy got the award? Didn't Diddy do his own tribute? I mean, not comparing Ursher to Diddy. And I know Diddy is persona non grata for very good reasons. I thought it was good call to let him do his own tribute. I'm not mad at Ursher doing his own tribute. Because I'm like, who gonna sing Ursher? Chris Brown could dance Ursher. But I'm like, sing Ursher? There are other people who could sing Ursher. I mean, singers exist. Luke James is alive and with us. Tank is alive and with us. Eric Bellinger is alive and with us. Miguel is alive and with us. There are people who could hit the notes. Oh, what's this guy? His song came on when I was at the nail salon the other day. He doesn't get enough credit. This Is Why I Love You. Major. I wouldn't be mad at him singing some Ursher, but Usher's just one of them people I don't want to hear nobody else sing Usher songs. Like, I just want to... I was driving yesterday. I have gaps in my pop culture knowledge, despite me doing a podcast on American pop culture. Even with internet access and following, quote and unquote, all the right spaces, there are just certain things that I miss not physically being in America. I just can't tap in the same way. There are certain songs or catchphrases or things happen in TV shows and I miss the reference that I have to ask people to explain to me. I'm driving yesterday and I have an Usher playlist. I drove to Pentagon City, which is like 45 minutes, and then I drove back home in rush hour. It took like an hour and change to get back home. So my Usher playlist goes all the way through and it starts playing new songs. So it's playing Money Long, Hours and Hours, and there's this remix and I've never heard it before. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, oh my gosh. And I was like, this guy should absolutely do the Usher tribute. Like, he really does sound like Usher. And then he hit some note and I was like, wait, is that, it was Usher. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of losing it. When my dad served, he was in the Air Force. He was overseas for a few years. And my dad used to be a DJ in Detroit. I know I'm meandering, stay with me. But my dad used to be a DJ in Detroit during the Motown era. If you play any song that was even medium popular from, say, like, I don't know, the 1940s to, like, I don't know, the early 90s, my dad has this encyclopedia level knowledge of music. Like, he'll be like, oh yeah, it came out in June 1961 and I saw him perform at some Chitlin Circuit spot, or what was that place called? Something grand in Detroit. 50 grand, 20 grand. Can't remember the name of it. He's not up yet. I'm taping this at like 7 o'clock in the morning. God, why can't I remember the name of that club? He talks about it all the time. That's not the point. The point is, he has this encyclopedia level knowledge of music, the month and the year, and then some backstory about the performer or the music or something. It's almost like he's carrying around random trivia in his head, except for the years he was in Vietnam, because he didn't have access to American culture. So sometimes really popular songs will come on and people were like, oh, you remember this? And he'd be like, no. Did it come out between whatever the years he was gone was? And he'd be like, oh yeah, it came out and blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, yeah, I was overseas. I was gone. I'm starting to recognize that with myself. I've been gone, with the exception of like a month here or there, for 2 years at this point. Almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August. So a year and 10 months. My dad told me something the other day. I think I was comparing Usher to Marvin Gaye, which my mother hates. My mother was like, there is no comparison to Marvin Gaye. My father will allow the conversation. but I made some allusion to what's going on. Oh, I was talking about the time I caught the Holy Ghost. I used to walk around Brooklyn listening to what's going on my headphones. It's a beautiful album. This stood the test of time. I think that's what I was talking about, how Usher's music stands the test of time with Confessions. Yes, because I was talking about I wanted to go to Essence Festival, even if just for a day or two, to see Usher perform Confessions. It's the 20th anniversary of the album, and I don't know when he'll do that again, and he's not doing it on tour, and it's a really important album for me, and so I really wanted to see it live. And my dad was like, you're going to fly down just for a day or two just to see this, just to see him perform this one album? And I was like, yes, it's like the equivalent of Marvin Gaye performing What's Going On, which led me to talking about how I once caught the Holy Ghost walking through Williamsburg with my headphones on, walking to a coffee shop, listening to Marvin Gaye. I was about to leave my husband. I was going through a lot. And it was to Holy, 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 which technically is a gospel song. But I called my best friend and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I just had a panic attack. I think I just caught the Holy Ghost. My bestie from childhood. But I called her and I was like, Jess, I think I just had a Holy Ghost moment. Well, she was like, well, I mean, his father was a Pentecostal minister. It kind of makes sense. I was like, you're not alarmed? And she was like, should I be? Ma'am. Then she was like, which album? And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, yeah, that's very spiritual. Still not the point. I'm telling my father this story. He was like, I told you about when I ran into Marvin. He said, I told you about when I ran into Marvin at the grocery store. And I was like, you always ran into Marvin because y'all were friends. Like, he was a friend of a friend. And he was like, nah, but he was like the grocery store. He's like, he looked a little, you know, not himself. We hadn't seen him in a while. He was sitting up in the house, I think with the lights turned off. And I was like, because he turned the lights off or because the bills weren't paid? And he's like, I didn't ask that man about his lights. I just heard they were off. I was like, you ran into Marvin, your friend Marvin, at the grocery store. What did he say? And he said he told me he was working on an album. He said, I asked him, I said, well, what's the album about? And he said, it's called What's Going On. He said, well, is it done? How far along are you? And he said, no, it's in my head. And my dad was like, oh yeah, but that's never going to see the light of day. He just writing it in his head? Yes. Lo and behold, it got out his head and became one of the greatest albums ever made. What's Going On? Songs in the Key of Life. It's up there. That's the story. My father's DJ name was it Luke the Lover? Did I get that right? He did the whole rant at his birthday party one year. It was like a whole minute long of my father essentially rapping. He had to be like a good 77 at the time. Hey y'all, let me put you on to something real quick. I have something that you need to check out. You ever heard of the BLK app? That's BLK, not black, the BLK app. If not, you're missing out. So check it. BLK is the largest dating and lifestyle app made exclusively for the Black community. Now, for those thinking it's just the same old scene, no. BLK switched things up. Sure, you can find your boo if that's what you're looking for, but if you're looking just to make friends, network, group chat with folks based on shared interest, or find out about events happening near you, BLK's got all that too. The app's been around for almost 7 years now, and over 11 million people have downloaded it. Crazy, right? That's like the populations of New York City and LA combined. If you downloaded the app before and deleted it, re-download it because they've introduced a bunch of new features and it's new people to meet on there. Oh, and did I mention that it's free? Yep, free. All right, I did my good deed for the day by putting you on. So go download BLK today in the App Store or on Google Play. It's free, it's fun, it's for us. Check it out and let me know what you think. What other good news do we have? Oh, Naomi Campbell is getting her own exhibit at the V&A, Victoria and Albert Museum in London. I would love to fly over for that. I don't know when it's opening. I'm reading on V&A. It says it's the first exhibition of its kind exploring the extraordinary career of fashion model Naomi Campbell. When is this coming? This is another one I was just flying in for a couple days. I'm not the biggest fan of London. Oh, it opens June 22nd. It's probably sold out already. The V&A had this, I think it was the V&A, had this Chanel exhibition last Fashion Week, so September. And I was living in Paris at the time, and I was going to take the train over for a day. It's like 3 hours, so it's nothing. But I was going to take the train over for a day just to go to the exhibition. And I checked the tickets literally the day that the exhibition went live, and it was sold out for the entire time. Are there still tickets for Naomi? Oh, there are. Are they on sale yet? They are. I just randomly picked a date in August, and it says that there are fewer than 15 tickets available for certain times of the day, August 1st. Let's try August 15th. Oh, okay, there are tickets later. There are tickets definitely in August. Let's see if there's tickets in July. My July is completely booked up. Yeah, there's less than 15 tickets available for certain days in July, too. That's going to sell out really quick. If you want to go see Naomi in London, you need to go ahead and get a ticket now. It's at the Victoria and Albert Museum. £18 to get in. Open Saturday, June 22nd. Naomi is shown, quote, through the work of leading global designers and photographers, we celebrate her creative collaborations, activism, and far-reaching cultural impact. This is huge. I'm really, really happy for her. I want to see, like, what's in the store. Like, what are they selling in conjunction with the exhibition? Like, I want a keepsake, even if I don't make it over, to celebrate Naomi, because that's major. Good for her. I saw recently she was talking about her kids. She had them by surrogate, which I think surprises no one because we never saw her pregnant. But she's a mother of 2, boy and girl. She did some interview the other day and she was like, let me actually quote the interview because I was like, Naomi, you doing a little much. But she was saying that like every woman wants a child and she's like, by the time you reach 50, you'll change your mind. Which I was like, yo, people are really pushing this like women get pregnant thing, hard body. I'm reading this on Business Insider. It says Naomi Campbell says women who don't want kids will change their mind. Will they? She's also always wanted kids. Like she's publicly said that multiple times. So, I mean, okay, you waited until you were 50 something. Like that's fine. You had the children when you were ready. So be it. But like you didn't change your mind. You just waited. So I was like, what are you basing this on? It's saying you'll change your mind. I'll be 45 next month. I never wanted kids. Never. Also never really wanted to get married, but that's a whole separate thing. But that's much different. You can actually get out of that with enough perseverance. Kids, it's more complicated. I don't know anyone in my friend circle who didn't want kids, who was staunchly like, nah, I'm good. And is now like mid 40s, late 40s, early 50s even. And was like, gosh, I really wish no. I feel like that's some myth that people like to propagate. Like, you're defined by being a mother. Motherhood is the greatest blessing. Like, I'm sure it is for actual mothers. But for people who ain't, like, I mean, it's one of those things, I guess you don't know what you're missing out on. So you don't know to miss it. And then also, we all got friends who got kids who, they love their children, but also be like, fuck them kids, get these motherfuckers away from me. Like, I mean, I think there's pros and cons, like most things in life, to what works. How about everybody just do what works for them? And if you love being a mother, I think you can just say, you know what? I love being a mother. And you can just leave it at that. Like, it doesn't have to be. Well, you'll change your mind. You'll regret it. Will you? That's one of those things I've never really thought twice about. Like, not in anything more than passing. When I hang out with somebody's like really cute, really articulate, really smart, advanced kid, I'm like, wow, like you're freaking amazing. You're like National Geographic in real life. But that's literally what goes through my head. I want to observe you. I want to like raise you. I want to give you back when, you're sleepy or tired or like want to be fed more than once, or you need a diaper change, or you need to be taken somewhere that I don't really want to go and have no interest in. Like, you have parents for that. I'm here for the fun shit. That's what auntie gets to do. Yeah. I'd be exhausted after spending a day with my friend's kids. Not even like a day, like 4 hours. I'm not even like the primary person watching the kid, just like answering all the questions and like interacting with the children and just having to keep a constant, eye on them to make sure they don't like run off or injure themselves, or it's a lot. It's very stressful. It requires a lot of energy that I'd rather sleep. Oh, this is good Black news, I think. HU has revoked Diddy's honorary degree. which I saw a bunch of people be like, you know how much I paid for this degree? You know how hard I worked for this degree? Honorary degrees in general should be done away with, which I was like, not really mad at that. As somebody who has 2 of them and did work their ass off for it, very graciously, my parents paid for both of them, so I never had student loans. Amen. Thank you, parents. Huge privilege in life. Huge. I'm trying to pull this up. Diddy had very famously donated or pledged a $1 million donation to Howard. In revoking his honorary doctorate, the big question was, well, he gave y'all all that money, like y'all taking his degree back. Are y'all going to give that man his monies back? And Howard was like, well, actually, he don't owe us monies and he hasn't paid us money. Let me read the actual statement. So Howard said they voted unanimously to accept the return by Mr. Sean Combs of the honorary degree conferred upon him in 2014. It says this acceptance revokes all honors and privileges associated with the degree. Now, if this is not a testament for why you actually need to go ahead and get like a real degree, not an honorary degree, Maryland can't take my degree back. NYU can't take my degree back. Like, y'all could ban me from campus. Y'all could publicly denounce me. But my degree is my degree because I earned it. I wasn't given the degree. I earned the degree. You can't take my degree back, but you can take his degree back because the shit's honorary. And now you're dishonorable. And so now they're taking your shit back. It says Mr. Combs' behavior, as captured in a recently released video, is so fundamentally incompatible with Howard University's core values and beliefs that he is deemed no longer worthy to hold the institution's highest honor. Jesus. This man done ruined his legacy. Also, I think it's not interesting. Is it interesting? I think it's timely. They didn't revoke the degree when the Cassie lawsuit came out and then when he settled the next day. And they didn't revoke the degree when all those other lawsuits came out. And they didn't revoke the degree when the hotel video of him beating Cassie in the hallway, they didn't revoke the degree then. That came out like 3 weeks, a month ago at this point. They revoked the degree after the Rolling Stone article came out talking about Puffy was in the quad beating a student with a belt in front of the dorms. That's when they announced they were revoking the degree. Here's the interesting part though. Stay with me. The board has also directed the university, I'm reading from their official statement, the board has also directed the university administration to immediately take the following actions. Terminate a 2016 gift agreement with Mr. Combs, disband the scholarship program in his name, return his $1 million contribution, and terminate a 2023 pledge agreement with the Sean Combs Foundation. Listen. No payments toward the $1 million pledge have been due or made by Sean Combs Foundation as of this date. Therefore, no funds are due to be returned under the 2023 pledge agreement. Remember last year, I think in preparation, because the Cassie lawsuit was probably in the works. Remember after all those years of artists complaining about getting screwed over by Puffy contracts, he returned the, what is it called? The masters. He returned the masters to all of his artists in exchange for NDAs, okay? And then he also made that big pledge to Howard, $1 million. All this goodwill, love. Tried to put deposits of goodwill in the bank because he knew that a big withdrawal of ungoodwill was coming down the pipeline. According to Howard, I'll read it again. No payments toward the $1 million pledge have been due or made by the Sean Combs Foundation. How is nothing due on a 2023 pledge? So y'all wasn't expecting the money and he wasn't planning to give it. Was it a PR stunt? Oh, did we officially determine that FAMU donation was a fraud? Did you follow that story? Let's see if I can find this. What's the most recent article? It's May 21st in the Tampa Bay Times. This guy, Gregory Jeremy, Gerami, presented a check for more than $237 million during the university's May 4th graduation ceremony. He also served as a commencement speaker at the event. The guy is supposed to be the CEO of a Texas hemp farming company, and that's where all the money came from. but the monies ain't there. He'd also pledged in 2020 $95 million to Coastal Carolina University. I've literally never heard of this school. And that also never went through. It says the college, quote unquote, terminated that relationship just months later. So it seems that this gift to FAMU, $237 million, is actually worthless. Had it been real, it would have been the largest donation ever to a historically Black college or university. According to the Tampa Bay Times, officials, I guess this is officials at FAMU, have since admitted that the stocks that were supposed to be worth all this money were actually worthless. The staff has been instructed to cease all communication with the donor. Oh dear. And now there's an investigation into how FAMU officials came to accept the donation and allowed him to speak during commencement to announce the gift. So a shit show. Want a more youthful look by addressing volume loss in the cheeks? With Juvederm Voluma XC, you can get smooth, long-lasting, natural-looking results for lift and contour in the cheeks that last up to 2 years with optimal treatment. For important safety information and to find a licensed specialist, visit juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those like lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Anything else big? Oh, it is Michael J. Rainey, a.k.a. Tariq, on the Power universe. It's not even just Power at this point. I have never watched any of the spinoffs of Power. Power went on for 6 seasons. I felt like it was 1 season too long, but I was so invested in the story that I had to stay. But once the original Power was done, I was like, I'm exiting the universe. Like, I'm good. Obviously, there are many people, because there's so many spinoffs, who are very addicted to the Power universe. We're talking about Power like it's Marvel. Just FYI. The actor who plays Tariq went on Ty James. I have no idea who this is. I've never heard this young man's name before in my life. Ty James's Twitch live stream on June 9th, 2 days ago. While on the live stream, he was touched inappropriately by James's sister. And for context, Michael Rainey Jr. is 23. The sister is, from what I've read, in her 20s. I didn't even know about any of this until I saw a statement from Ty James apologizing publicly to Michael Rainey for what happened. And I was like, wait, what happened? This is the apology I saw. It said, after the actions that occurred during my stream last night, I would like to sincerely apologize to Michael and his family for what took place. My little sister was completely wrong and out of line. What she did was very inappropriate and unacceptable. I am truly embarrassed and disgusted by her actions. I completely respect whatever direction Michael wants to go in this situation. After watching the clip, I was completely taken aback by what she done. That's how he wrote it. I'm just reading what he wrote. He says, I will take extreme precautions with future streams to avoid similar issues and have banned her from participating in future streams. I do not condone any type of assault. I'm like, huh? Had to go look up the video on Twitter. So it's a group of people, including small children. I would say children, I don't know. I'm not really good with kids' ages, but I would say like under 9, maybe closer to 7, 8, 6. Young adults, like people in their 20s, and young children are on the screen. Michael Rainey is standing in the upper left portion of the camera, and they're all watching something. And then all of a sudden, he makes this like weird face, and he's brushing something away from his lower portion. In the clip that I saw, I couldn't see a girl on screen. And then in context and reading other articles about it, I read that this guy's sister had just come up to him and grabbed his dick. I'm trying to think of a scenario in which this would actually make sense. There was no there was no flirtation or playful banter or context that would make it she might have missed the social cue or taken things, or they were both being flirtatious, or they were kind of grabbing at each other and, she just, took it to the next level. No, there's no justification for this one. Sis is dead ass wrong. It's clear cut assault. He's standing there minding his business, watching whatever everyone else is watching, standing behind a group of small children, and this woman just walks up to him and grabs his dick. It's I saw some people being he laughed about it. It wasn't that big deal. No, I don't know if y'all saw what I saw. He looked shook. He looked nervous. He looked confused. Maybe there was another clip where there was nervous laughter. If that's the case, then it's probably very similar to what women do when they're in a situation like that. I don't know any woman who hasn't had some incident of a man grabbing her. It might not be in a quote and unquote private area, but men just tend to be very inappropriate. Social cues and boundaries and consent seem to be very much of a challenge for very much, not all, but very much of the male population. So every woman I know has some story about being grabbed by a man in a private place or otherwise, but a man crossing boundaries. And sometimes you just don't know how to react. Sometimes you have nervous laughter because you're confused about the situation, or you're trying to diffuse the situation because you definitely don't want it to escalate, because you're dealing with someone who clearly doesn't have boundaries, and you don't know how much further across those boundaries they're going to go. It's also on live stream. He's also famous. He may not have wanted to make a scene. He may not have known how to react. This might have been the first time that somebody's done something like that to him. He's also 23. I know he's been on TV forever and a day, and sometimes people like to assign more adultness or more experience or more maturity to people just because they've been on TV. He has experience in Hollywood. He has experience in front of cameras, but he's still very much a 23-year-old young man. And you just don't always know how to handle yourself in situations like that, especially at that age. But I'm also 44, and I don't always know how to handle myself in certain situations. Sometimes you just get thrown off. He responded, and I think it's a really good response. I also thought the brother's response was really good. I did read that the brother's initial response was to downplay it. It says in a statement to People, he said a rep for Rainey Jr. said the actor is, quote, deeply saddened and shocked by the events that occurred during the Ty James live stream this past weekend. He is still processing what happened and doesn't entirely know how to feel about it. The statement continued, this situation is not to be taken lightly. Sexual harassment and assault are serious and unacceptable acts. Taking advantage of someone's celebrity in this manner devalues entertainers and underscores the need to respect their humanity. Those who entertain us are human beings just like everyone else. On Instagram, this is what Michael Rainey Jr. wrote. He said that he is, quote, still in shock. He says, can't take the situation lightly because I know I would be in serious trouble if the roles were reversed. He says, quote, this is an unfortunate situation that I can't condone in any way. The fact is, sexual assault is never okay, regardless of gender or status. We're all human and we should all respect each other. Most importantly, we should respect ourselves. He should press charges on old girl. You know I'm a girl's girl, and I try to give women the benefit of the doubt. I don't like to throw another woman under the bus, but sis was dead ass wrong. You can't go around grabbing men's dicks. You can't. You just can't. It's sexual assault. It's illegal. If he chooses to press charges, which actually I doubt he will, just because of the, for lack of a better word, machismo attached to it. Like I saw a good chunk of men online yesterday talking about it, and many of them were like, no, that's assault. If a man did that to a woman, she would want to press charges. She would be calling him all sorts of like monsters and animals and all this other stuff. And like the same thing applies when women do it to us. Y'all want to be equal. But I also saw another large subsection of men that be like, okay, like a woman touched your dick. Like, what's the problem? Like, you gay nigga? Why are you so upset that a woman grabbed your dick? Oh, she must have been ugly. That's why he ain't like it. But like, you know, a woman grabbed your dick. Why are you mad? I think the blow that it would take to the perception of, let me clear my words, to the perception of his masculinity or to toxic masculinity as a whole would be too great. So I doubt he'll press charges or take it further than what it is. I'd be surprised if he did. I wouldn't be mad if he did though. So that's that. I don't know if that's everything, but that's what we've got. And we'll be back, hopefully, God willing, on Friday. I don't know if it'll be the live episode. I don't think they'll get the recording to me that quick. Definitely not the video to have it chopped. But Friday from Miami, I'll probably have to tape it in sections. But we'll be at ABFF. I'll do my best to make it feel like you're there if you're not there. All right. Talk soon. Wish me luck on the live. Bye. Want a more youthful look by addressing volume loss in the cheeks? With Juvederm Voluma XC, you can get smooth, long-lasting, natural-looking results for lift and contour in the cheeks that last up to 2 years with optimal treatment. For important safety information and to find a licensed specialist, visit juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you.
What's up, everybody? Your boy Bert Kreischer's throwing the biggest party of the summer. The Fully Loaded Comedy Festival is back, hitting up Joseph P. Riley Jr. Park on June 13th. Catch Bert and his favorite comedians like Big J. Okerson, Chad Daniels, Cypher Sounds, Dan Soder, Dave Attell, Kelsey Cook, Mark Norman, and you never know who's dropping by. Don't miss the hottest party of the summer. Get your tickets now at milb.com/Charleston. What's up, everybody? Your boy Bert Kreischer's throwing the biggest party of the summer. The Fully Loaded Comedy Festival is back, hitting up Joseph P. Riley Jr. Park on June 13th. Catch Bert and his favorite comedians like Big J. Okerson, Chad Daniels, Cypher Sounds, Dan Soder, Dave Attell, Kelsey Cook, Mark Norman, and you never know who's dropping by. Don't miss the hottest party of the summer. Get your tickets now at milb.com/Charleston.